everyone come on in, and especially come a rush on in, because let me tell you, I just watched the season 1, episode 6 of the one with Kirk Franklin, Tammy Franklin, and it's getting hot in here. Let's take off all our clothes. Y'all remember that song? Y'all ain't too saved that you don't remember that song. Because let me tell you, these folks was getting undressed up in this episode. Finally, Ashley got some eye candy. And she didn't even know what to do with herself. Ashley didn't even know what to do with herself because she said she ain't been this close to a man. She said in 3 years. Woo! She said she ain't touched a man like she touched these men on this show this week in 3 long years. But we're going to talk about it because a lot happened in this episode that I want to talk about. A lot happened. I enjoyed the episode. I was laughing through the episode. A couple of times I cringed through the episode. A couple of times I was like, I told you so through the episodes. So we're going to talk about it. But one thing we do know is that these are the last dates. They're getting down to the last dates. Remember, they're only supposed to have 6 in the mansion. They've had all these dates in the last 5 episodes. So each episode they had to choose one person to go to the mansion. So this is episode 6. And they had to choose one more person to go to the mansion. So these were the last dates, the last chance for them to pick anybody they wanted to go. The first thing that happened in this episode where I was like, I told you so, and I was kind of sad over it and kind of like, this is sort of ridiculous, is the fact that Brent, at 43 years old, is still trying to train and tame his brain and his body to choose women differently than based on looks. He's 43 years old and he's still out here not able to control his loins, and he's letting the small d still control this right here. The small head is still controlling the big head, and he's still struggling with it at 43 years old. He hasn't practiced enough discipline in his life to get a hold of this. I said very beginning on, when I knew that Brent was the one being chosen for this show, I said, why? Why? Because he obviously has a problem with discipline. He has a problem controlling the little head in order to make better decisions with the big head. We see on this episode, week after week, that Brent goes for the big booty and the smile. He has a hard time not doing it. And he even admitted it in this episode. He says he's trying not to just go off of what he sees. That's juvenile. That's stuff men go through in their 20s, even their early 30s. But there should come a point in time in a man's life where he's done with that. Doesn't mean he doesn't want a woman that he's attracted to, but that should not be the overriding factor in everything. And for some reason, Brent missed that lesson. He missed the lesson because here you have Kirk Franklin eloquently. I really like Kirk Franklin and Tammy Franklin. I wish they would have done more of this type of counseling because I think it was very valuable. We saw it a couple of episodes back. Tammy did it with Ashley. Maybe they're doing it off camera, but it's not making the actual show. But they showed the sort of breaking it down to Brent that Kirk Franklin did with Brent in this episode. And I loved the metaphor that he used. I love the metaphor and the analogy of when Brent was sitting there eating a bowl of fruit, and it was mixed fruit. You had some pineapples, some grapes, strawberries, melons in there. And Kirk Franklin asked Brent, what is your favorite fruit? Out of all these fruits that are in this bowl, what's your favorite fruit? And Brent said, I like the grapes. And Kirk Franklin said, well, I know you like the grapes, but I saw that you just ate a pineapple. He said, yeah. And what Kirk Franklin did was he took that moment to teach him that this bowl of fruit is like all the women out here in the world. And what he told him was, you always can bounce around to all the different fruits in the bowl. But what he was trying to tell them is there's got to come a point in your life that if you want a meaningful relationship, you've got to just get a bowl with all grapes in it. All grapes. All grapes. You got to focus and just get all grapes and not be bouncing around from grapes to pineapples to this. If this is your favorite right here, this is what you need to focus on, and that's where you need to stick if you want to be with one woman. I thought it was a good way to tell him that it's not the women that are the problem. It's you. It's you and your decision making. It's you and what you're allowing to control you. It's not that you need more fruit or different fruit, or you need I need another type of fruit. Where's some jackfruit up in here? You need to stop complaining about the bowl of fruit and say, well, this bowl got grapes and pineapples and it's got, melons in it, but it don't have no jackfruit in it. Where are the raspberries? Where are the blueberries? No, you don't need any more variety of mixed fruit. You've got enough options already. What you need to do is, just like Kirk Franklin said, you need to make a decision. You need to pick your fruit and make a decision, and you need to stick with that fruit, and you need to eat that fruit every single day and stop filling your bowl up with a bunch of other different fruits. Kirk Franklin drilled in on it on Brent. And this has been a big problem with Brent. It's why he hasn't chosen a woman. And like I said before, we're going to get into it later on. But like I said before, I think a man dropped down in my comments when I said it. He told me, who are you? You old too. Because I was saying that Brent thinks he doesn't have an expiration date. Brent thinks that just because he can have babies till he's 50 or 60, that every woman still wants him. Just because he's a good looking 42 or 43-year-old man, that 29-year-old woman still want him. And I said, no. To my viewer who said I'm old, yeah, I am old, but I do remember when I was 20s, 29, 30, like these two women coming on the show. I remember. I'm not too old that I can't remember. I remember when I was 29 and 30 years old, and I'm telling you, 43-year-old men chasing 29-year-old women were creepy. They were creepy. Okay? Unless you were some big baller making a whole lot of money, 29-year-old women look at 43-year-old men and say, unless you provide me with a real high-class lifestyle and you're making a lot of money, why would I choose you? If I'm just going to go with a mediocre, average earning man, I might as well choose a man who's 31 or 32. I would get the same salary with a younger man. And I think what Brent is running into is he's thinking, because he's a good-looking man, 29 and 30-year-old women want to be with him. No. They don't. And as we saw in this episode here today again, he got ghosted by one of the women, one of the younger women. One woman didn't even show up one of these episodes. She didn't even come back the next day. Remember that episode where they went out on a date and she ghosted him on the second date in the house? And the second woman, she came, but she started talking to a whole nother man at the mansion because she wasn't interested in him either. And now we find out in this episode, even the woman he chooses out of the two, she says, well, I respectfully decline. And he looked like, what? What? You don't want me? Yes, they don't want you. Men have an expiration date too, especially when they're running around here like Brent talking about he wants a good looking woman. I want a woman with her natural hair. I want a woman that doesn't have any kids. He got all this list of criteria and he's 43 years old. Just like they always are trying to tell women that our options get slimmer as we get older, and men are out here being told their options don't get slimmer. Yes, they do. They do get slimmer. And here Brent finds himself at 43 years old thinking he still has the same options he had when he was 24, 25, and 30, and 32, and 33. No, he doesn't. He doesn't have the same options. Kudos to Kirk Franklin trying to get this 43-year-old man to finally grow up. Grow up. But I got sidetracked because I had wanted to do this straight through, but I done skipped all the way to the end. Y'all know he got ghosted. But that's okay. I'm going to rewind it on back because I want to make sure I don't forget some things that happened early in the episode. It was funny. Did y'all find it funny when Tammy Franklin clowned her own husband and said, yeah, when I first met Kirk Franklin, not only was he not have a lot of money, but his teeth looked like this. That was hilarious. That was hilarious. I actually like them together. They can laugh and have a good time. They really do seem like a couple that has a good time together. She was clowning them. And Kirk Franklin said, I knew she was going to bring the jokes. I knew she was going to clown me, but that's okay. But once again, I did not like the date that Brent chose. And actually, I think he confirmed it. I think he confirmed he's the one choosing the dates, which now bothers me. I've been complaining about it all season long, that why are these first dates for these women with Brent all about physical exertion where they got to show up in stretch pants and sweat? I keep saying it. Why are the producers choosing his dates? Now, I heard a little bit from him something he said. He said, oh, I thought this would be a good date. So maybe they let him choose and he chose aerial acrobatics. Why? Once again, why? See, there's a part of Brent that only thinks about himself, what he wants. He doesn't think about what other people want. That's why he's here at 43, because he's picking these dates based on what he would want to do. He's not picking the dates based on what would a woman feel comfortable doing on a first date. I would not feel comfortable going on not only a first date, you're talking about a blind date. This isn't a date where we met somewhere and then you invite and we talked on the phone and now we're meeting for the first time and actually going to a date where you've had a chance to figure out what I like, what I don't like, and now you're inviting me out. This is a blind date. And you're picking a blind date, aerial acrobatics, where I got to flip up and down and spread my legs wide. Why? You're not thinking about me. You're not thinking about me one bit. This is also why he has problems in dating, because he doesn't think about the woman. He only thinks about what he wants. He's not thinking about what that woman may want. This is why he's getting ghosted by women, because he's so busy thinking about what he wants in a woman and I want her. He's not thinking maybe this woman doesn't want me. You know what? So many of our videos, my videos and these dating shows, we often talk about what the women are picking men that may not want them. Here's a classic example of this is a two-way street. It happens to men too. And Brent should be a lesson to a whole lot of men. He should be a lesson to a whole lot of men. Y'all got a clock too, okay? And doesn't mean that you can't get a woman when you're in your 40s and 50s. Absolutely you can. But you don't have the same options either. Stop trying to act like women are the only ones who have decreased options. They're not. Men do too. Unless you're going to throw a whole lot of money at that woman, which Brent is not doing. Unless you're going to be throwing a whole lot of money at that woman, what is her incentive to be with a 50-year-old man or 45-year-old man versus a man who's 30 or 35 years old? What's the difference? If it's the same exact salary, the same lifestyle, what is the difference? She might as well be with a younger, more spry person. She might as well. So the first date that Brent got was Jasmine. When he saw her, he said he liked Jasmine. She was 30 years old with her natural hair. There we go, ladies. You're starting to hear all his criteria. Big booty, smile, natural hair, all physical things. All physical things. He's so untrained. He's so undisciplined at 43 years old. It is such a turnoff. It is such a turnoff that he is so untrained and so undisciplined at his age that here we are in episode 6 and he's still not talking about anything but physical appearance. And then he had Leah. And he called Leah cute and attractive. When he called Leah cute and attractive, y'all know what I thought right away. Oh, he's not going to choose her. Because I know when you say cute, it's almost like your little sister. And he did treat her, knew right away that she was too young for him. He even said it throughout the show that he knew she was too young for him. In the end, I already gave it away. He chose Leah. But the only reason he ended up choosing Leah was because he found out with Jasmine that Jasmine had just broken up with her boyfriend 2 months ago. So he really didn't have no choice. He didn't want to choose Leah in the first doggone place. He didn't. When he called her cute, I already knew she was in a little sister mode. Cute. Anytime a man calls a woman cute, he's not interested in her romantically. He is not. He's not interested in her romantically. Cute is not a word that men use to describe a woman he wants to be involved with romantically. And she shaded him right away. She said to him, oh, he was cute with his curly gray hair. That was shade too. I already knew right then and there she wasn't going to want to be with him either. But when Jasmine told him that she had just been out of a relationship for 2 months, he was like, damn, you act fast. You get back on the wagon fast. You get back out in them streets fast. That was funny. He was like, you move quickly. She said, I sure do. She said, I sure do. Later on in the episode, she starts telling them more about the story. And she said, well, I believe that, if things were meant to be, it'll come back around. That's another thing that scared him about Jasmine, because Jasmine started talking about things in terms of she would get back with her ex. When you start talking about if things are meant to be, they'll come back around to you. That means you ain't closed the door on it. That means you got the door cracked. You got the door cracked just enough for that man to come back in your life. And you know what? Being that Brent is older, he saw that right away. He saw that the door was cracked for Leah with her ex, and he ran as far away from it as he possibly could. He got away from that fast. That's another reason why he ended up choosing Leah. But Leah was over there telling him, you can send me some money through your Cash App. She was sugar daddying him. She was trying to set him up to be a sugar daddy. She said, yeah, I've learned that I got to be more considerate in my relationship. Is Leah saying that she's a taker? Is Leah saying that she likes to use me and that she likes to get things, but she's not as considerate? Because she was over here telling Brent on the first date, you can send me some Cash App. I said, good Lord, she is 29. I know when Brent was on that date with Leah and Jasmine, he was feeling like the old man in the club. I know he was. I know he was at a club, 21 and older. And Leah and Jasmine were in the club, and he was the old man in the club. I'm telling you, it ain't a good look. It ain't a good look, Brent. You better settle the hell down. It is not a good look. And it's not a good feeling when you are the old man in the club. I remember him. I know I'm older. I know I am much older. But I remember being in a club, in a social atmosphere, being 29, 30 years old and seeing 45-year-old men walking around with gray hair. Please. I remember. And I remember what I said about him, what I thought about him, and I remember what all the other women in my friend circle and around were saying about them. Men, you may not know. You may not know because no woman probably ever said it to you, but it's the truth. Men are always trying to give women the truth and come to and recognize where they are in life and who they can and cannot be going after they're 40-something years old with 3 kids, and what kind of man will want to take on the responsibility of kids. Well, then men need to look at it the same way. You're not immune to it. But I'm going to move on right now to start talking about Ashley's eye candy date. The first eye candy date that walked up in there. Well, what was this man's name? What was his name? His name was Vaughn, and they said that he was a spa owner, 34. Isn't Ashley a little bit older? Isn't Ashley 37? I think she's 37, a little bit older. But Vaughn came up in there. He was tall. First of all, his chest entered first. His chest and his arms came into the room first, and then the rest of him followed. And Ashley was like, ooh, good to meet you. For the first time, Ashley lit up. For the first time, something was aroused down there in the lower portion of Ashley's body, and it was aroused first when she first saw Vaughn. I mean, it didn't last long. The arousal didn't last long. She quickly became disinterested in him. But for a minute, she was feeling good. For a minute, she was feeling good. But once again, do you see these? You know, Ashley has this part to her where I'm telling you, Ashley is, I was saying she has a little bit of, what did I call it? Masculine traits. I don't know what I called it. And I still don't know what the right word is for it. It's something about Ashley that's not all the way soft and feminine. And there's something about Ashley where I feel she has something. There's something she doesn't like about closeness. I don't know where it comes to. And it even comes across in her hugs. So when she hugs Vaughn, and I think she even hugged the other guy, she has this thing where she hugs the man. First of all, she barely gives hugs. She always likes to give the business handshake. But Vaughn said he's a hugger. So he did request a hug from her. She hugged him. And when she did hug him, she does this rubbing on the back. You know, when people rub you and they rub your back, you know what? These little things tell me, why are you rubbing the man's back like that? That's what you do to a friend. That's what you do to a friend. When you are trying to build a romantic connection, first of all, you give a hug. Okay. Then what you do is you do give a hug. You give a hug, you squeeze, you pull them close. Hugs mean something. And this little thing where Ashley rubs the back, I think it's because she's uncomfortable hugging. She's uncomfortable hugging. And I think this is sort of just like when that rubbing on the back, I think it's what she does because she's actually uncomfortable hugging, period. She started talking later on saying, oh, you guys all think that I'm the nice guy, Ashley, but in the bedroom, it's a side you haven't seen of me yet. Well, of course we haven't seen it, girl. We ain't been in your bedroom. And come to find out, you ain't been in the bedroom for 3 years. So ain't nobody seen that side for a long, long time. But ain't nobody seen it for a while. But the point of the matter is, I don't know who Ashley is in the bedroom. She says she's some completely different woman in the back bedroom. I think Ashley might be into dominatrix. I think I could see Ashley being in a dominatrix and dominating a man in the bedroom. That's what I could see. Or maybe it's the opposite. Maybe the bedroom is where she lets go. Maybe the bedroom is where she allows the man to control her. It could be either the two. Either she is a dominatrix in the bedroom, or in the bedroom is where she allows herself to be dominated. Because in the real world, she doesn't, in the outside world, outside of the bedroom, she likes control. Because I'm convinced Ashley likes control. She absolutely likes control. So is she the woman that in the bedroom is where she relinquishes control and she allows herself to be dominated by the man? Or in the bedroom, does she become more of a dominant person? And even though she lets out this more wild side, she's also more dominant in the bedroom. I don't know. But that hug tells me a lot of things about Ashley. Ashley ain't comfortable with intimacy. She's not comfortable with intimacy. So I wonder what her bedroom life looks like. Is it a whole lot of, it may be sex, but is it intimate? Is it close? Is it emotional? That's what I wonder. Or is it just, I don't know. But she like Vaughn. She's like, let me look at them arms and that chest. She was saying it all. She was really, these words she was saying was like, give me the goods, give me the goods. I was like, oh, you making me nervous, Ashley. Ashley made me nervous. I was like, give me the goods. I don't know. This part of Ashley where she sort of like, remember before when they were on that date and she was with the whistle and she was standing over him or something? I don't know. I don't know. I don't like it. I don't know if men like it either, to be honest with you. I don't know if men like to be sort of, for lack of better words, be made the bitch of Ashley. It's almost like Ashley makes men her bitch. Yeah, I don't know. It really does, y'all. I don't. It's like she likes men to be her bitch. It's really, really weird. But then next thing you know, the next eye candy walks on in. His name is Matthew. And Matthew said, and Matthew got a nice body. He was shorter. He's absolutely shorter. I actually think he's probably maybe the exact height of Ashley. So when she puts on heels, she's going to be taller. But I think he's really close to her height. But he had a nice body. He was 34 too. He was a logistics coordinator. Vaughn is a spa owner. What kind of spa owner is Vaughn? Is he a happy ending spa owner where you go get a massage from him? Is he a naked, chest-bearing masseuse? What kind of spa owner is Vaughn? What kind of massages is he giving? What kind of business is he running? Remember that show, what was it? Ready to Love show. I don't know if any of you watched that. And Mike, we started calling him Magic Mike. He was the one that would go to these paint and sips for women. And he would walk around half naked while they painted him. Is Vaughn like a naked masseuse where he gives you a massage naked, or at least his chest is out and his arms are naked and he comes in just briefs? I'm starting to think that about Vaughn. I'm thinking Vaughn makes money off his body. What do y'all think? But their date was let's paint the bodies. I guess this was a sexual date this week. Maybe that's what this whole episode was supposed to be about, sex. Because you got the aerial acrobatics, the women were spreading their legs wide. You got this paint, not paint and sip, but you got this canvas painting, body painting. That was really sexy. And then they followed it up when they get back to the house with this aphrodisiac sex escapades things. We're going to get into that too. But anyway, they was getting a little steamy. They was doing the body painting. First they was painting her. And Matthew was just painting Ashley just up and down. And he was like, I'm just getting into the crevices. I don't even know what he was doing. He was just lathering on paint on her arms. And Vaughn over here painting the alphabet on Ashley's arm. Talking about, what's your favorite letter? She said A. So then he painted the A. And then he was like, who's your favorite sibling? And she was like, I only got one. And next thing I knew, she had the whole alphabet darn near written down the side of her arm. Neither one of them did a good job of painting her body, but hey, okay. And the questions Vaughn was asking, I guess he thought he was doing something. What's your favorite letter? What's your favorite letter? Who's your favorite sibling? I don't know. It really wasn't any type of questions that were showing too much intellect. And let me tell you, Ashley picked up on it real good. She tried to ask him some more detailed questions like, what are you looking for in a woman? And he was like, I don't look for anything. Vaughn said, I don't look for anything. I just look for what's there. Okay, Vaughn. It's almost like he was trying to sound deep, but then it sounded kind of ridiculous. Like, what, you don't have anything like that you want to look for in a woman? You say you just like every single woman, no matter what woman comes around, you see the good in her and that's what you like? Boy, get out of here. You may like every woman. That sounds like an answer you would give to a woman laying on the table, you giving a massage too. That way you can give every woman a compliment that's on the table. You don't tell her what you like. That way you don't upset any clients. That sounds like an answer he give his clients. So that way no client is upset. Every client starts to think she could be the woman for Von. So when a woman lay on the table and she starts saying, what type of woman do you like? He's like, I like anyone. I like every single woman. I look at the good in every single woman. She's like, oh, good. That means I still got a chance. He ain't trying to mess up his tip money on that massage table. Von got all the right words to say to keep the ladies coming, to keep the business coming through the door. Matthew was like, Von got a lot of talk. He got a lot of talk. But Matthew was like, I got brains, and brains is what's going to make you the money out here. He's like, beauty fades, Von. Beauty fades, but brains is what's gonna make you the money later on. Von over here talking about he don't compete with no man. He looked over at Matthew. He says, I don't compete with no man because I'm the star and I don't need no co-star. Boy, just be quiet. Just be quiet. Von the type of person, if you are sleeping with him, you just go, shh, just let me look at you. Just let me look at you. Don't say nothing. Because once you say something, you ruin it. Once you say something that sounds ridiculous and ignorant, then shh, don't say nothing. Just like men talk to women and say, how a woman, she not pretty, but they love her body. And they be talking about how they want to put a paper bag over the woman's face, but because they want to just have sex or whatever to the body because the body's banging, but the face is bad. Von like that with what's in his head and his talk. Shh, don't say nothing. Don't say nothing. Let's just look at you. But Matthew said he's the total package. He is the total package. And when Ashley was like, can I paint right here on you? She was painting his body. She's like, can I paint right here? He said, yeah, you can paint right here. He says, don't be afraid. I'm not going to bite you. He said, at least not yet. I was like, ooh, I had to clutch my pearls, y'all. I had to clutch my pearls. Matthew said, I'm not going to bite you, at least not yet. I was like, ooh, my goodness. Lord have mercy. Where's the fan? Matthew said he likes to read poetry. He likes the art. He said he likes music. He was saying a lot of things. He said he's diverse. He's got a lot of little different things that he likes going on. And Von said he's simple. Oh, we know that already, Von. Von, we already know you simple. We know that you're simple. But Ashley had a good time. She said she hasn't been this close to a man touching him like this in 3 years. Truth be told, I think Ashley would have loved a little menage a trois. A little threesome. She the one and these two men. I can pretty much tell you that Ashley would have loved a little menage a trois with both Von and Matthew. She'd tell Von to be quiet. Don't say nothing. That's what she would say. And she would let Matthew do all the talking. Woo! We know she probably would dominate them both. She probably would dominate both of them. But did you see when they finally got to the second date and they came onto the house? Did you see how Jasmine was checking out Von? Did you see how the date of Brent, which was Jasmine, soon as Von walked in the door, she was checking him out and Brent saw it. That's another reason why Brent didn't choose Jasmine, because he saw the look. He saw the look that Jasmine gave Von, and Brent knew right away, this girl ain't interested in me either. That's why he didn't choose her. That's why another reason why he didn't choose Jasmine. Jasmine looked at Von and said, that's more my speed right there. She was like, that's more my speed right there. But then they had these little seduction sexologists come in. I don't know. It was a little bit uncomfortable for me too. For a first date. I mean, this is uncomfortable. This is something you would do, I guess, after you know a person, but I don't know, a first date. I don't even know these people. And I tell you, both Von and Matthew, I think they were a little bit uncomfortable in the beginning. I think they were very uncomfortable in the beginning. I don't know if the ladies seemed uncomfortable, Brent's ladies, but I think people were a little bit uncomfortable, especially when the ladies started talking about, look at the oyster. What does it remind you of? Oh, good Lord. I don't know. Did y'all like that? Did y'all like that date? I don't know. Did y'all like that? Did y'all like what the lady was doing? Did you think? I mean, it was good, I guess, for TV. But if you were in that moment, would you have felt uncomfortable? Would you have felt uncomfortable? First of all, I don't even like oysters. I don't care what they look like. I don't care if they're aphrodisiac or whatever. I do not like oysters. Never have made them. I love seafood. I like sushi. I like raw fish. I like all that. So it's not like I'm a foodie. I like, but oysters I do not like. I know people put, Tabasco sauce on it. They put a little, lemon or lime or something on it, and they say it tastes so good. I don't like it. I don't like it one bit. And then first they started off with a little bit of wine. She was like, oh, this is a seduction technique. We all know that wine is seduction because it gets you loose. But I actually found out that both Matthew and Vaughn both don't drink. They're both like, I don't drink and I'm not drinking. So she was surprised. And I think she was a little bit disappointed that they didn't drink. She finds out later that Vaughn doesn't like to drink because Vaughn said his father's an alcoholic and his brother also drinks a lot. And he said, drinking doesn't do anything for you. Where does drinking lead to? And he says, I don't drink. He says, I don't like to drink. And I think she came to respect him for that. I think she was wondering at first why they didn't drink. And maybe she was getting triggered because what she knows is her father doesn't drink and he was an alcoholic. And she wanted to make sure that they were not drinking because of a previous alcoholic addiction. But Ashley's so funny. She's so funny. Now think about it. Ashley came from an alcoholic father. And then in a couple of these other dates, she was picking men that got drunk on the first date. Remember that first man she chose? She chose him. He got drunk on the first date, couldn't hold his liquor. Now she gets two men who both say, I don't drink alcohol, and she gets upset. This girl, I don't know, something wrong with Ashley. She gets upset because both men say they don't drink. But once she heard their reason for not drinking, I think she softened a bit on the position, but I think she was a little bit disappointed still. I still think she was a little bit disappointed because I think she actually likes to drink, which is okay. And I think she felt like, wow, I won't be able to share a drink with either one of these guys. Vaughn seems like he just doesn't drink, period. Not period. She comes to find out that Matthew's reason for not drinking is because he's just decided to be, he's just going on a little, what do you call it? Drinking sabbatical. He's not drinking for a while. He hasn't been drinking for the last 5 months, almost like he's doing a cleanse. He said he's trying to become mentally strong. And so he's trying to not be tempted by certain things. I think one of the things he said he cut out was alcohol. And now he hasn't been drinking, I think he said, for at least 5 months. I think he cut out alcohol and sex. He said he has cut out alcohol and sex and he was celibate. And she goes, oh, really? Because, Ashley's celibate. She's been celibate now for 3 years. She goes, how long you been celibate for? And he said, 5 months. I'm not going to put it down. But when he said 5 months, I was like, boy, that's average for most people. If you're not in a relationship, 5 months. Is that called celibate? If you only not had sex for 5 months and you single? I mean, I guess single people don't have no droughts. Y'all just, I don't know. I don't know what it looks. I thought when you're single, I guess I'm old. I didn't think 5 months is called celibacy. I thought 5 months could just be I'm in between people. But anyway, okay, I'm going to go with it. He's celibate for 5 months, but I don't know if he's celibate no more, y'all, because he had sex with her finger. Did you see the point where they were asking the men to lick Ashley's finger? And first she put her finger into Vaughn's mouth and he says, I don't lick no fingers. This episode was hilarious. He said, I don't lick no fingers. And then finally he did lick her finger. And she said, oh, you missed something. You're not going to get that. He goes, no, I'm done with that. At least I'm done with that. But I guess he was talking about he could be into licking other things. He could be licking other things, but he done with that finger of yours, Ashley. She's like, oh, okay. But let me tell you, Vaughn, he ain't celibate no more. Because he made love to Ashley's finger. Let me tell you, he made love to Ashley's finger. He done broke his celibacy. He gonna have to start all over from the beginning. Boy, he was licking all over that finger. And them girls over there sitting on Brent's, they were like clutching their pearls too. They had to lean back in their chair. I'm telling you, these girls were more interested in Ashley's dates than they was interested in Brent. Both of Brent's dates were more interested in Ashley's dates than they were interested in him. But Vaughn he had to stick up his butt. He was a bump of the log. He didn't want to eat the oysters. He didn't barely want to lick her finger. He didn't want to have nothing to drink. He didn't want to eat no figs. He didn't want to try nothing. He said, wear some collard greens. If you bring some collard greens up in here, I eat these collard greens. And Brent started clowning and talking about, get your country ass up out of here. This ain't Thanksgiving. This was funny. Brent said, this ain't your grandmama's house. Go take your country ass back to the country. Woo, I was rolling. I know I couldn't go out with no Vaughn. I could not go out with a Vaughn. I got to go with a man who is definitely going to try some new foods, going to be adventurous, who's willing to try different things. Me and my husband had traveled all kind of places, and we tried all kind of foods. We was in Africa. We ate all kind of meats. We ate some cow balls. We sure did, y'all. We tried that in Africa. We ate crocodile. We ate, of course, alligator. When we was in Thailand, we tried some rat. I know y'all like we crazy. We tried some rat. We ate, not crickets. Were they crickets? What did we eat in Thailand? I forget what it was. I should go ask my husband. We had some crickets. I will try anything. You ain't got to eat a whole spoonful of it. You ain't got to eat a bowl full of it. But, put a little on my finger. That's what I did with the rat. I was like, they chop it up real fine. It almost looked like, I don't know what it looked. It looked like ground beef. And they put so much seasoning on it because, in Thailand, it was all spicy and everything. It was so much spice in it. I couldn't even taste the meat. But I said, put a little bit on my finger right here. I'm going to taste it. That's all I did. But I try all kind of foods. I like to try them. See what other countries, see what they eat. So yeah, definitely me and Vaughn couldn't hang out. We could not hang out. I know y'all think I'm crazy now that I told you that I've eaten a rat and I've eaten cow balls and I've eaten crickets. But he wouldn't even try the caviar. He wouldn't eat no caviar. He wouldn't eat nothing. He said collard greens and ham hocks. That's all I want. Collard greens, ham hocks, black eyed peas. But Matthew tried the oysters. He did try the oysters. He didn't drink the wine, but he tried the oysters. He tried the fig. And he almost choked on that oyster, though. He was a good sport. He started to see how Ashley was reacting to Vaughn, the fact that Vaughn didn't want to try anything. And Matthew said, I better eat this oyster. I better try something. I better live a little bit on the edge. He didn't really want to do it at first, but he did it for Ashley. He was like, I want to get chosen by this woman. I want to go to the mansion, so I better step up. And he did the right thing. He put on his big boy pants and he at least tried it. Then Leah and Jasmine had they crack at licking the finger of Brent, and he got a little hot up underneath the collar when Leah was licking the finger. He's like, ooh, okay. He was liking it. He liked it when Jasmine did it and everything. He was like up underneath the collar. And I guess even though he might have been hot and bothered, Leah wasn't. Leah was not hot and bothered, not one bit. Because in the end, when he chose Leah, she was like, a thank you, but no thank you. Sorry, I do not feel a connection with you. And it would be disingenuous for me to go to the mansion when I'm really not interested in you that way. And Brent was like, oh, his feelings was hurt. But you know what? Kirk Franklin got him out of a sticky situation. And it was like, okay, well, is there anyone else you had a connection with? And we knew it was Ashley from last week. So the good thing that did come out this episode was even though he got curbed, even though he got kicked to the curb by Leah, he was able to double back on Ashley or call her up. And then he was all tight-tongued. Because he couldn't figure out how to ask Ashley back to the mansion. And guess who had to take over? Kirk Franklin. Kirk Franklin had to grab the phone from Brent because Brent was tripping over his words and say to Ashley, we can't find nobody better than you and we don't like nobody here. Kirk Franklin had to be the one to give Ashley the compliment and say to Ashley, listen, Ashley, we can't find no one better than you and we want you to come back. Brent could not find a way to get that compliment out and give it to Ashley to lure her back to the mansion. Like I said, Brent thinks he's the freaking prize. This is why he struggled even telling Ashley on the phone that she was really the one he wanted. He struggled with the words because Brent is so used, I believe, in thinking that he's the prize. And that's why he's still out here single, still going after women that are telling him, no, you're not the prize. You are not the prize. You definitely not the prize when you're 43 years old and I'm 29 and 30 years old and I'm a good looking woman and I got things going on for myself. He better grow up. He better grow up, because not only is he going, right now he's the old man in the club. Pretty soon he's going to be the old man in the nursing home. That's what he's about to be. Now, if he don't really get this stuff together, he's going to go from the old man in the club alone in the club to the old man in the nursing club alone. That's what he's going to be. He better wake up. He better listen to Kirk Franklin. He better wake up. And in the end, Ashley chose Matthew. We knew she would do that. She said she had to pull too much out of Vaughn. She was like, She was like, I can't be with no man who thinks he's the prize. And I think she felt that Vaughn thought he was the prize. And I think she knew she wasn't going to be able to dominate Vaughn. She could not influence Vaughn. I tell you, Ashley likes control. And to do control, that means a man has to do, a lot of times, do what she says. She likes to give orders. And when she was sitting there feeding Vaughn that food or trying to get him to eat food, she realized she couldn't get Vaughn to do what he didn't want to do, which means she wouldn't be able to control him. Ashley likes control. She likes influence. She likes dominance. And you can see it in the men that she chooses. It doesn't mean that I think she should have chose Vaughn. But another reason why I think she didn't choose Vaughn is because she saw early on that she couldn't control him. She couldn't influence him. And I think that's another reason why Ashley's having problems out here in dating. So that's it for this week, y'all. We about to go to the mansion next week. We are on to the mansion next week. We got to see what next week brings. But this episode was funny. All right. Talk to you later. Bye.